This podcast contains content some people may find distressing. Listeners' discretion is advised.
It's talking about people faking things.
Literally.
Let's talk about John Darwin, who actually committed the in Britain crew, right? Where was he from?
Where was he from? Southwold, I think.
You know what? It doesn't matter.
Southwold. I think so.
Mentally, because we're in Brighton, I thought maybe he did it in the outskirts around here. But I know he's from a coastal location because this whole thing started because he went out to canoe.
Yeah, I would say Southwold, I think. That's like an area that came up a lot in a lot of this. But basically, John Darwin and his wife Anne, they invested in these buildings, right?
Real estate.
Yeah. And these buildings, basically, they were like semi-attached. They were attached houses, right?
Yeah.
This is important for later.
They had like 6 or 7 on the same road.
And what they did was they would charge the people lower than their mortgage.
Which is a very stupid financial idea.
And it got them into $700,000 of debt. Naturally, it would. I don't know why they did it, but they did it. They were declined a loan. They were in a really, really bad financial spot.
Only way that makes sense is if you get the other amount of money on top as cash.
Yeah.
So you charge 300, but really you get 600.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
We don't know. Probably not, because they were in severe debt. Over £500,000 in debt.
And then John had an amazing idea.
He did indeed. And keep in mind, he has 2 sons with Anne, called Mark and Anthony. So what had happened was he wanted to go canoeing. And he made sure that his neighbors, so obviously like he knew his neighbor's timings and what time his neighbor would go to work or do the gardening or whatever. He made it a point that his neighbors see him went canoeing. And the neighbor is thinking in his head, this is a weird time to go canoeing. Because the weather isn't cute for canoeing. Like, you shouldn't be canoeing right now. It's not bad that he's like, oh my God, you're going to die.
But it was convenient for his story.
But it's,
because if you need to go missing, what better time than a time when it's rainy and a bit stormy?
Yeah. So he kind of goes canoeing, gets out on the other side, calls his wife Anne and tells her to pick him up. She picks him up. She takes him all the way to the Lake District where he stays there for a couple of days, right? She goes back. Everyone's looking for him. I think there was £100,000 spent looking for this man.
Yeah.
Right?
Those are roughly the figures. And by the way, this is £100,000 like 10, 15
2002.
years ago. Yeah. That was a lot more back then.
Yeah. So they spend that amount of money and all of the things, and everyone's looking for him. Everyone's scared. His sons are distraught. Mark and Anthony, they're like, oh my God, like...
The wife reports him missing.
Yes. So they're distraught. They're like, oh my God, what's happening? They go to their mom's place to comfort her and all of the things, right? And so all of this time, he's chilling at the Lake District. And he gets bored. So he calls Anne and he's like, hey, Anne, I'm not feeling this right now. I'm kind of bored. And she's like, what do you mean you're bored? You faked your own disappearance. You can't come back. And he's like, no, come pick me up.
Before we talk about him coming back to his hometown, let's explain to the people what they got out of John pretending to be dead.
So they didn't get it yet. I think the life insurance policy was cashed out. How much was $249,000 in life insurance money was cashed.
Yes. So the breakdown of that is £25,000 in life insurance.
Yeah.
£25,000 in teacher's pension.
Yeah.
£58,000 in prison pension.
Yeah.
£4,000 from the Department and Working Pensions, and £137,000 from Norwich Union mortgage policy.
It's wild. That's a lot of numbers.
How long, roughly or exactly, did he wait until he was like, I'm bored and I'm coming back?
I think at the latest, a couple weeks.
Really? You fake your death and you can't hide for more than 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah. He was over it. And you know what? When his wife...
Over it, as if it was a flavor of a drink or something.
And his wife was kind of like... She was like... But she couldn't challenge him, you know? She wasn't... He bullied her into this. And I really do believe that he bullied her into this. I believe that she didn't want to do it. He bullied her into this because according to her, she came out with a book called Out of My Depths. According to her, he had abused her, right? To the point where... she couldn't, mentally abused her to the point where she felt like she couldn't survive without him. And he literally told her, if you're not going to help me, what the hell are you doing with your life? Like, where are you going to be without me?
Yeah, but they did a lot of things. So it's one thing to get bullied into the first thing, but as we go on to this story, you'll see that they were complicit in many, many dodgy things together.
Yep. So he comes back from the Lake District, and he builds a secret passage from one of his properties that connects straight into this house.
Yes.
And the good thing, and I say good loosely, quote, good, air quote, was that they had a gravel road, like a gravel driveway, so they could hear whenever a car was coming. So as soon as they heard that, he would just get up, go into the secret passageway into the other house and hide out there.
Yeah, from his sons, for example.
Yes. But my
that
guy
were
was
concerned that their dad was dead, basically.
And you know what's actually crazier than that? Is he would be in an old man's disguise in his garden doing work as his sons would come and visit his wife.
Their mother.
Yes. They would literally go and visit their mom and check on her. And he would literally be standing outside. They would walk past him, not knowing that that's their father.
Oh, they wouldn't believe it.
Disguise.
For so long, they've heard that he's dead.
Literally.
Even if you saw someone that looked like your father, you'd be like, that's not my dad. But he was spotted by 2 people. Oh, wait. We have to mention whose name he took when he tried to get the new identity.
But we're jumping ahead.
I'm always jumping ahead.
We are jumping ahead because I have to tell you how he even got that name to begin with.
Let's go.
So you would think he's holed up in his place. Yeah, and he's chilling, right? He's indoors. He's not chilling. He goes out to the library. He goes out to the beach. And he goes out to graveyards. Why does he go out to graveyards? Because he wants to scope out a name that he can steal. And John Darwin has an amazing moral compass that he didn't want to steal a person's identity who was still alive. So he's like, I'm going to steal a dead person's identity. And not any dead person's identity. A baby that died at 5 weeks old's identity.
Who had the same birthday?
Who had the same birthday and the same name. So the baby's name who passed away was also John. So let's see whose
John
identity.
starts trying to form a new identity. He took the identity of someone dead. He used a dead baby, 5 weeks old when the baby died, and the name was John Jones.
Yes, John Jones. So he did this because what would happen was, he was like, if I'm out in public and someone recognizes me and says John, and I turn around, I'll go like, no, I'm not John Darwin, I am John Jones. And so with this new identity, he got a passport, a new passport to match. And when he wasn't just playing dead, right? He was also playing this like online game. And this online game, it was like a game where you can play online with people.
And he met Kelly from Kansas.
Yes.
In America.
Yes.
And they decided to invest in some real estate together, or try to.
Yes.
So while he's supposedly dead, he's making use, while being alive, of this insurance money that they've got. After they've cleared their debts or managed to reduce their debts, he's now thinking of new business ventures. What a guy, right?
Literally. Like an equestrian center in Kansas or something crazy like that. So when he met Kelly through this online game, he decided to travel.
Yes, he went to Kansas, yeah.
Yeah, he went to the U.S. And at first he was staying with her and her kids, Kelly and her kids. And he started being weird. She felt uncomfortable and she was like, leave, go stay in a hotel. And from the hotel, he literally called her saying, the deal is off. I want you to give me my investment money back. And if you don't give me my investment money back, I work with the mob. I'm in a mob and they will come after you. Now, Kelly doesn't know that this is BS. She's scared, obviously, for her life,
Naturally.
rightfully so. For years, basically, she couldn't sell it. Like, the ranch itself wasn't getting sold. It wasn't her fault that she couldn't pay him back or anything like that. And he traveled everywhere, him and his wife. They went to, where did they go? They went to the US, they went to Spain, they went to Cyprus, they went to Panama, all the while looking for places to invest in.
Yeah, he left Kelly alone and then he went to Cyprus.
Yeah.
Then he went to Spain because Cyprus wasn't for him. Yeah. And in Spain, they thought about buying a boat.
Yes.
Which was worth 60, which he haggled down to 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
But then he started acting weird again. So the deal was once again off. Yes. So then what happens? Well, John and Anne go to Panama. And this is my point about Anne. She's complicit every step of the way. Yeah. So it's one thing to be bullied into it at the beginning or in the first month, 6 months, 1 year. I think she started to almost live in the lie with him. And now it's... Have you ever most people have done this, harmfully or harmlessly, I don't know. But have you ever kept information from somebody, and the longer you keep the information from them, the worse it gets,
Yes.
and the more the person will be thinking, why didn't you tell me in the first place? That's what Anne was in, because imagine after 2 years, she turns around to her son and say, hey, your dad's actually not dead, and he's this guy here.
That's what I was thinking too, and what.
She was in too deep.
Yeah, and the impact of mental abuse as well. You know, for someone to tell you, if you're gonna leave me, you're nothing. A person, I personally would never say that to someone ever. So a person who says this kind of thing doesn't say it in isolation. There are other behavioral traits as well, and other things that they probably have done that from the past for them to be comfortable enough. Because an abuser doesn't just like abuse you straight up right away. Like from what I've heard, they build up to it, right? So first it's like controlling what you wear a little bit, controlling what you dress a little bit, controlling your friends a little bit. And then as soon as you know it, you've been isolated from your friends. Your self-esteem is smashed. They've been together, 37 years at this stage?
And at this point as well, in any form of a relationship, you're now emotionally attached.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
You've carried 2 kids for this man. So, and you're right, if it is learned behavior, if this is a habit of John Darwin's, then of course after 37 years, it's subconscious and she is numb to it.
Yeah. And on top of all of that, like, you know, like how the deal with, like in Spain came off with the boat. They ended up going to Panama, and that's when they found a deal that they liked. So they got a plot of land, and they also got an apartment, and they stayed there, and everything was hunky-dory. But before that deal was signed, John Darwin took a picture with the person who gave him the deal.
Posted it on Facebook. And I don't know what happened. Maybe he thought, oh, like, I'm outed. That's it. Like, I'm done. But this man literally leaves Panama, goes to the UK, goes to London, and then goes to the police and tells them, my name is John Darwin. I think I've been missing since 2002. I have no memory of who I am or what happened. Very convenient. Very, very convenient. Anne also at one point acted like she didn't know who John was. John was alive.
Yeah, she was like...
So they both were a bit convenient. And then Anne felt pressured. Now, John was obviously arrested.
Yeah.
And as soon as Anne was arrested, she also told the whole story. She started to snitch on the matter as well. And as I put it in my notes, she sang like a canary.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. No, but that's crazy.
I wonder if she made any money off that book.
She said, I saw in one of the news articles that any money she made towards that book will go towards, any money she made from that book will go towards the search, the costs of the search. But I haven't seen anything about her actually doing it. She might have. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't.
Well, listen, the investigation at the end concluded that the couple had stolen altogether £649,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And do you know how some of these things were eventually found out?
Money. How?
So a journalist by the name of Gerard actually hacked John's emails, which is technically unethical, and you can't do that, and you can't bring that into a court of law.
No.
However, in this case, because it was a matter of public interest, public money had been funded for this man to find him, the judge ruled that it would be allowed to be admitted into the court. And Gerard didn't get in trouble for this.
Thankfully.
But
our hero.
They used it to convict him because it was the best interest of the public, which is what they said.
Yeah.
Anne tried to fight the case on her end. She didn't just plead guilty like John did, even though she sang like a canary. But they were both released in 2011, by the way.
Yeah,
now,
yeah, they were.
John is now married in the Philippines.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And I pray for his wife that she is okay. Because listen,
she's been accepted by the sons. She's been accepted again by the sons.
And the sons didn't want to talk to them for a long, long time.
Would
too.
you?
No, they're better than me. Because
I mean, there's lies, right? There's the lie of telling Nora, the 8-year-old, that you can be a mermaid, and there's the lie of telling someone your father's dead.
Literally,
and we did it for insurance money.
It's awful.
And we didn't stop when the insurance money came in.
It's awful.
We then started trying to invest in everything.
It's awful. It's absolutely, absolutely awful to do that to someone, and to do that to your own children. I cannot imagine.
what goes through the minds of people like this?
I don't
Because we have
know.
discussed 4 crazy topics.
I don't know what's wrong with people. I wake up every day and I'm like,
Do you think these
What is
people
going
are
on?
wrong, or over time they become wrong?
all I know is that me personally, as a normal person in society, would never wake up one day and say, I'm going to fake my kidnapping. Or wake up one day and say, you know what? I think I'll fake my murder for 600,000 pounds. So I don't think you wake up kind of like, and do, I think people who do this, who fake their kidnappings, I would not be able to do it, not for anything. First of all, I wouldn't know where to start. I mean, you have Sherri Papini. She took her inspo from Gone Girl. Right?
That's one way to put it, Nora.
And so I wouldn't be able, I'm sorry, I'm not that creative. And even if I was, I feel bad when I miss
You'd
the
be
call.
outing yourself on TikTok.
Literally, I go like, guys, it's Facebook kidnapping. Like, no.